Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. This is Agent Prep for your Texas real estate sales exam with Wild Lillie Handy at Agent Prep. So we're here to help you prepare to pass your exam by reviewing vocabulary, which applies nationwide, national questions and answers, which applies to every single state, all 50 states, and then focus on the state. It is for state questions in Texas. So I start with vocabulary. Good afternoon for those of you that have joined. So I start out with vocabulary, then I go into national questions. If you are out from another state other than Texas, you may leave in the last 20 minutes or 15 minutes. However, some of them may help you out also, okay? Because certain things in contracts are similar. So thank you for joining us today to help you pass. And what you see on the shared screen right now, so I've got my new baseball cap, right? Look at that, EXP Realty, because I'm with EXP and love it. Hi, Blanca, good afternoon. How's it going? So can you all hear me well? Probably loud, right? Okay, what I'm gonna ask you to do, if you haven't signed, can you send me the link to this? What do you mean, send you the link to what? To the class? So I'm not sure what link you would like me to send you. So for any of you that haven't given Facebook permission, so let's StreamYard see your Facebook live comments. You have to give Facebook permission. You see, planning a comment to live video, we love to show your comments in the live video, but it will look like this, Facebook user, if you don't have your name or given acceptance, okay, approval. So StreamYard, allow StreamYard to access your Facebook name, okay, because you are probably joining through Facebook. You could also be joining this through YouTube because I also have it on YouTube. To this class, so I can invite someone. Oh, I see. Hold on. Oops. That's not what I wanted to show. I wanted to... You can send them to, yeah, they don't see it on Facebook unless I've already approved them to the group. However, you might be able to, hold on, to share it, invite somebody. So I can also give you, let me give you the link to, hold on. All right, let me open the video on Facebook. Okay, that's streaming right now because I'm sending it to Facebook. I'm sending it to the, oh, you know what? They don't have to join the private group. They could also go to, hold on. I just realized this, Agent Prep. They can go to the Agent Prep Facebook page. And so I'll click that one because they may not be able to get onto the group one. I don't typically invite people like that. You can actually, I think, invite them through here. The Agent Prep. Okay, so this is, so let me give you the business page because I am streaming it to there. And, okay, so I'm going to post it on here and then I have to show it in the chat. So that's the AgentPrep page that it's streaming to right now. And I'll also give you the YouTube channel that they could also go and attend and make comments, okay? So it's under live videos, which I send you these links on the email that you get invited. But if you, let's see, the live one now. So let me make sure the sound isn't on so that I don't have multiple sounds going on. So for those other of you that are on here, be patient while I share some of these links so that people can attend, and I'll post it also on Facebook, because that's where, see, this is my page. I need to do it on my group because that's where most of you are right now. You're in the group. So I want to share it, invite some. I'm dealing with one hand, okay? So bear with me, all of you, while I manage with, okay, because look at my right hand, okay? So I'm learning to do everything with my left hand right now. And the computer is working a little, not the computer, probably the internet's working a little bit slow because I've got so many screens going on. So, okay, if you see the link right here, so here is that's the Facebook link, okay, for the page. Okay, so I'm finally on here. So many screens going on. I'll turn that off. Just bear with me here. Okay, where's the volume here? Okay, if you see the link, I'm turning that volume off, okay? Here is oh my gosh, I have so many different things going on that I'm getting confused here. Okay, if you see the link, I'm turning that volume off, okay? I'll click that one because they may not be able to get onto them. I have so many different things going on that I'm getting confused. We'll have it all managed here in just a moment. Okay, okay. If you see the link, holy crap. I'm turning that volume off, okay? Okay, so I think we just have one going on now, the main one, which is me live speaking. So I just added the link to the YouTube channel on Facebook. And where the heck did it go? I just posted it. Okay, there it is. So there they can watch on there, or they can watch on my business page. So this is taking a little longer than normal, everyone, just because I'm streaming it to 3 different places, and individuals in here want to invite people at the last minute, which makes it a little bit more challenging for me. Okay, so I would rather you invite them in advance by having them join our Facebook group. Okay, so look on Facebook. If all of you are on Facebook on the AgentPrep group, okay, which is a private group, then I just put the links for the YouTube channel and the AgentPrep business page. But if they want to join and have access to everything that we're doing in here after the recordings are being saved on the group page, not necessarily on all the others, or they might be. Yes, they are. So I'm just putting all the pages on there. Okay. So this is our group. See, it has to say group. So this is a private group. People have to ask to join this. Okay. The other business page is open to the public. And then the YouTube channel, okay, that is open also to the public. Okay, this here. And they do stay on here recorded, but then I'm adding thumbnails to them later. Okay, so they're all on here. All right, so let's get back to business and let's start the course. So do you have what you need, Blanca? So I posted, this is the AgentPrep Facebook channel or page. I'm posting from my Realtor page, okay. So this has the YouTube channel on there. And this is the group, okay. So everything you should need, okay, links are on here already. So this is the group. This is the AgentPrep page. And this is the AgentPrep YouTube channel links, okay? There you go. So let's get started with class because I'm only doing it for an hour. I was going to cut it short because I have an HOA meeting that's going by the wayside. I'll have to hear it from the other people. Okay, so we're going to start with vocabulary. We're starting out with salvage. So this is the book we're using. This is the 2006 version, but it is excellent. Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent book with national questions. The state, a few of the questions have changed, but the majority are still accurate. And most of my recent students, I was referred to this book years and years ago. I started this about 8 years ago in 2014. And some of my students back then referred it, that they loved it. And I love the book also. Reason being, it has 4 major exams of 110 questions, and it has 80 national questions and 30 state questions. Plus, it also explains the answers. Okay, it doesn't just give you the letter answer, it explains every single answer. And it has a little refresher course, math review, glossary. Not all books have vocabulary, and this one does a little test preparation section and then tells you about the Texas real estate sales exam itself. The glossary on here is awesome from A to Z. There are a lot of free material out there. Stop spending. He went to request the group. Okay. All right. We need to do this prior to class starting, everybody, because this, takes time from the class. And, that's not fair for everybody else. So he could have gone to one or the other. Okay, I just looked and he's not on there. Okay, so I don't know who it is, but there's only a Victoria Thomas and she didn't answer all the questions. So Blanca, I'm not sure. So he can go to one of the others and view it from there and then request to join in the group. And he gives me his phone number and email, I'll accept him. Okay, and that way he can see all the old recordings that are on here. On the Facebook group, I have several years of recordings that I've done the whole book, another book, vocabulary, and I answer questions and explain them, give you my experience, and it helps you understand the material. But please understand that don't ask last minute, okay, because it's not fair to everybody else and, coming late to class. And he's not requesting it, okay? All right, so let's continue on. So I can be a little rough, but hey, I only have an hour on here instead of the 2 hours I used to do. So prepare in advance, ask me in advance, not last minute. Salvage value. All the other letters we've already done and they're recorded on here. They're not all on YouTube because they were too long, but they are on this Facebook group. So salvage value, the value of a property at the end of its economic life. So the accountants, IRS considers the economic life of a property 27.5 years. Every year they depreciate an investment property by 1/127th and a half. Once an investor has had it that long, is paid off, they're like, okay, I can't make money on this property anymore, so I'm going to get rid of it. Most of them get rid of it long before then. However, we keep a property once it's paid for to get passive income. So if you buy multiple properties, right, and they have 27.5 years to be depreciated, that's a lot of tax shelter, okay? And you have one property, you take the income from that, from the rental, and you pay it on the mortgage. In addition to the mortgage payment, any excess rental money that you get, you pay that mortgage. And then you buy another one, and all the rent money you get from that one after paying the loan, you pay the first one until you have multiple properties as investments. However, the economic life is typically 27.5 years for tax purposes. At that point, there is no tax shelter for it, and investors will want something else that they can reduct their income tax rate, not the rate, but the income tax due. Then satisfaction, an instrument acknowledging that a debt has been paid in full. So once we have a mortgage, it can be for 15 years, it can be 30 years. Those are the traditional FHA, VA, and even conventional loans. They're 15 to 30 years. If it's a 15, you're going to pay like double mortgage. It's 30 years allows you to buy a house and have a lower payment, especially when these awesome interest rates, right? Up 2%, 2.5%, well, maybe not 2%, but 2.25%, 2.5%. It's the best time to buy with interest rates so low. It's cheap money to buy a house right now. So once the loan is paid off, the lender will provide a release of liens. Okay, if they don't provide it, you have to ask for it, because then it's still going to have on there a vendor's lien, which is going to be the lender. It's going to be on the warranty deed. That's what it means, satisfaction. The debt has been paid off, and whoever the lender is, it could be an owner, a seller that you got it from, they have to provide a release of liens. You have to ask for it for most owners. Banks typically will send it out, and if there's any escrow money left over, they'll send you a check within a few months. Second mortgage. So we have a primary mortgage. Okay, that's the initial one that we have. It's very rare to have in these days an 80-20 mortgage. And so where you don't pay any down, but the secondary mortgage could be, that's considered a junior mortgage. So let's say you got a mortgage for 80%, you put 20% down, and then you end up having enough equity that you get a second loan on that property. So you get a home equity line of credit. The second loan will be called a junior mortgage. That's the second mortgage. It has less priority, okay, than the first one. So it's less than the first lien if I were to go into foreclosure. A section. So a section is an area of land in a rectangular system, survey system, an area of land measuring 1/4 mile of 640 acres. So a section, there's a township, which is, 36 sections. And each township has 36 sections. Each section is 1 mile by 1 mile, but they call it 1/4 mile measurement. The area of the land, okay? Not the linear portion of it. So there's usually 36 sections in a rectangular system. There's 36 sections for one township. And I went over and explained that to another student of mine that's about to take his exams next week. So we don't use it a lot here in Texas. We use meets and bounds, but whenever there's acreage, then they use the rectangular system to find the actual location of a piece of land. When there's a lot of land, 1,640 acres, they break it down into quarters and quarters and quarters and quarters. So you would have the northwest quarter, northeast quarter, southwest quarter, southeast quarter. In each section, you'll have 4, they cut it in quarters. Secured loan, a loan that is backed by property or collateral. Okay, so a secured loan. So the property that you have, that you buy, the property itself will be the collateral to the lender for the loan that you borrowed. So Blanca, your friend never requested, so hopefully he went to one of the other places where we're streaming it, and he can end up watching it in there. Oh, you know what? I posted all those links on the wrong one. My apology. Darn it. So I did post the Facebook group page on here. This one that you, oh, I'm sorry. You can't see that screen, but I'm looking at different, hold on, I'll go back to the group and post it because I've got so many things posted on here. Blanca, I had so many pages open, and so they can see it on the group, and then they can also see it on the YouTube channel. My apologies for that. But when we do things like this last minute, it's kind of crazy. All right. So where did I put the YouTube channel? I put the Facebook group, the AgentPrep, and okay, the YouTube channel there. Let me post it on the Facebook group. Okay, so you said it's okay. Thanks. I appreciate you're still being on here. You're the only loyal one that's on here of 3 people. A lot of people don't realize, you know, it takes a lot of work to prepare for these exams. Okay, so so I just put on here, oh, Kevin Arenas, you know what, he didn't request. So since you asked me, I am looking out for him, but he didn't request on the group. So you can give him one of those other links, okay? And he can get onto YouTube or to the public place if he didn't request to join. All right. So let's go back. Let's go back to the PDF, okay, to vocabulary. Okay, so secured loan, a loan that is backed by property or collateral. And then security, property that is offered as a collateral for a loan. So the secured loan, it is backed up by property or some other collateral. It could be an antique car, right? That's worth $50,000, $100,000. I ran into a Mercedes car that's worth $2.5 million, okay? And it's displayed at one of the most Mercedes dealerships. And security property that is offered as collateral for the loan. So you have the secured loan that uses the security property, the collateral, to back it up. The selling broker, the broker who secures a buyer for a listed property. So a lot of times we think, oh, the selling broker, that's the listing one, right? Because they're helping the seller. No, the broker representing the seller is called the listing broker. The broker representing the buyer is called the selling broker. Okay. So don't let the word selling confuse you and think, oh, well, that broker represents a seller because it says selling. No, that represents the buyer. So a broker that secures a buyer for a listed property, and that listed property is with another broker, or it could be with the same broker. The selling broker may be the listing agent, a sub-agent, or a buyer's agent. We don't work with sub-agents because that sub-agent would be representing the listing, the owner, and not the buyer agent. So a sub-agent means that the buyer did not want to sign a buyer rep agreement. They don't want to be represented. They want just you to write the contract and take it to the listing agent. So if you don't have a buyer's representation agreement, right, we don't have our fiduciary duties that are owed to them. Our fiduciary duties are owed to the seller, okay? And so we don't do sub-agent. We just go ahead and we get a buyer's representation and agreement, even if it's at the last minute when we're presenting an offer. And we tell them, in order for us to present your offer and for us to represent you and protect you and negotiate for you, this is all your interests. And then you are working with me, and this is protecting both of us. And so they sign it. I typically get them to sign it when I send them the contract to sign on an offer. That's not been something that I do right away. I develop the relationship. I inform them about the information about brokerage services, but I have them sign everything when I send them the documents to present an offer. Separate property. That's how I do it. If you end up joining a team, okay, you may end up being trained to, nope, you got to get that buyer's representation agreement ASAP, first thing, when you show them the IABS. Well, that was not my method, okay, because I predominantly work with sellers in a 2-listing presentation or a 2-appointment listing presentation. Okay, the separate property owned individually by a spouse as opposed to community property. So in the state of Texas, we have community property, right? Both husband and wife own it 50-50. However, if one of them dies, it doesn't necessarily have survivorship. In other states, you have tenants by the entirety instead of community property. That has survivorship. So if one spouse dies, the other one gets their 50%. It doesn't get distributed between the living spouse and the children. In Texas, we are a community property state. So it'll depend. It's 50-50 on the warranty deed. However, if one of them dies, okay, it'll depend on the courts or the attorneys or how they wanted to split it if they have it on the will. Okay, so it's already 6:23. I will do one more word, vocabulary, and we're going to go into national questions. Okay, servient tenement, a property on which, so think of the word servient, serving somebody, right? So servient tenement, somebody that has some ownership or owns an easement. It typically is with easements. A property on which an easement or right-of-way for an adjacent dominant property passes. So an adjacent property, okay, it's right next door or kitty corner, but it has something that meets with the subject property. So let's say you have a driveway between 2 parcels of land and they share the driveway. Well, that driveway belongs to one property. That property that owns the driveway, they are the servient party. They have to give permission to the other owner on the other lot to use that driveway, especially when it's recorded. It has to be recorded to be protected. Otherwise, the owner that owns the driveway, they could force the other people, hey, you got to go build your own driveway, okay, if there isn't an easement recorded. So it's a right-of-way to the adjoining property, to the adjacent property right next to it, have access to that driveway. It could be a well, it could be a septic tank, it could be access to a creek or the river. So there's different types of right-of-way, but one person is dominant. So that is the other party, the one that doesn't own the driveway, the one that doesn't have access, own the frontage of the creek, or doesn't own the well, or doesn't own the septic system. It's shared. So they're considered the dominant because the other party has to allow them use for it, especially when it's recorded. And whenever a property is sold, it stays with the property. It goes to the next owner. Many people don't like to buy properties that have easements because there could be battle between them. However, they end up having to share the expense of maintaining it, especially if it's a driveway or a septic or a well. Sometimes in some areas, the wells are powerful, high flow rates, and they share it with multiple properties. I had that experience in Oregon. And if there's a problem that goes with it and it's repairs, both are responsible to pay the cost, right? Because both are sharing the cost of it. They have to share the cost of the utility. So the servient party is the actual owner of the driveway, of the well, of the septic, or anything else. The other one is considered the dominant, the one that has access or right of way. Keep those two understood, okay? Setback. Oh, I said, okay, so we're going to end with setback, with servient, and I'm going to go, since I'm having a little challenge writing, I'm going to type it. Okay, on here for next week. Okay, so where did I say, what word are we going to start with? So next week, we're going to start with setback. You're currently signed in. It's okay, get rid of that. Okay, so setback. Okay, and it's on page 176, so we're still okay on the same page. All right. So now we're going to go into national questions. The national questions are in a different book. This one here, Texas Real Estate License Exam Prep. Okay. And this one is a new book. It's a 2020. And I like this book because it also has answers to the questions. Okay, so that is the book there. It has similar table of contents. Let me reduce the text here so we can see more on the screen. Okay, so you have an overview like the other book, a national law review, all the different sections that you've studied on the books, and then real estate math cramp cards, all the different sections, categories. So if you have a weakness on one area, you just go to that section. These prep books are excellent for reviewing, preparing for the exam, instead of studying with the big books that you studied and took an exam on each of the courses. Texas law and regulations. Again, anybody that's here out of Texas, you'll have your own, Oregon law, Washington, Oklahoma, Florida. And then it has national practice tests. Okay, here are 10 of them. And it'll explain the answers. Then it has Texas state level practice tests, and it explains the answers. Then it has a full-blown examination sample. It has answer keys and then other useful websites. So let me go to the page where we're starting today. We're actually starting on, gosh, I can't read my writing. So bear with me, okay. I wrote with my left hand. So we're starting on question exam 2.58. Oh, what page was it on? Page 143, and the answer is on 248. So 143. Okay, right here. Question 258. All right, so now I'll get rid of this, make the screen larger. And I'll make the text larger so that it's easier for anybody looking at it on their phone. Okay, but sometimes it gets a little too big. Okay, there. All right, so we're on question, what did I say, 256, right? Is that what I said? Okay, you guys got to stay on top of me, right? Question 258. Okay, so these are national questions. This applies to every single state in the US. Everybody can see this okay? I can see it on my small computer, and I also have it on my phone so that I can be able to see what you're looking at, and I adjust the screens. I'm learning to deal with, darn it. I had it on my phone so that I can see the size of the screen, okay, that you're seeing. And, oops. Okay, so it looks big enough. I mean, you probably have to put your phone sideways in order to see it. Okay, so question number 2.58, and participate and write your answers down. Put the question number 2.58 and then the answer, okay? Should you get it wrong, I'll explain it. And you can make comments throughout, right? Even if you're on, you're watching on Facebook and not on YouTube, okay? I'll display them on here. Okay, question 58. If a lease does not state a specific ending date, when does it terminate? A, immediately, since it is an invalid lease. B, after 1 year. C, when either party gives notice, proper notice. Or D, whenever the property is sold. So I'll give you time to answer. So a lease does not have an ending date. So when does it terminate? Immediately, since it's an invalid lease. After 1 year, when either party gives proper notice, or whenever the property is sold. Take a guess if you don't know it. Okay, so for those of you that showed up later, this is our link for the business page, AgentPrep. This is the link for the YouTube channel. And these recordings are saved, okay, in the Facebook group, and they're also on the YouTube channel, and I'll be adding a thumbnail. They'll be under the live playlist section. And this is the Facebook group. You can see where it says group. So there's a group. That one requires, that one is private group. So only those who ask me and answer questions, or if you're referred by somebody else, then I'll accept you into the group without answering all the questions. Okay, Blanca, give it a shot. Proper notice. Very good. Okay, so remember to write 2.58 and then C. The answer is when either party gives proper notice. That is correct. Very good. Okay, number 59. Okay, so Blanca said proper notice, and that was correct. And so 2.58, letter C. 59, in accordance with the statute of frauds, what happens? A, leases in excess of 1 year must be recorded to be enforceable. B, oral leases are not enforceable. C, a 5-year lease must be in writing to be enforceable, or D, an unwritten lease is fraudulent. So there are exceptions to leases, right? Anything under a year has certain conditions, and anything that's for a year or more has to be in what? So I want to see what Blanca says. Taking a chance, Blanca? Okay, the answer to this is C. A 5-year lease must be in writing in order to be enforceable. So the others are not accurate statements. Leases in excess of 1 year must be recorded. No, leases do not get recorded, and they don't go to a closing title company. Okay, it's between the leasing company or the leasing owner that the agreement is done. The oral leases are not enforceable. That is not true. If it is a lease for less than a year, it is enforceable. A lease for less than a year does not have to be in writing. And then D, an unwritten lease is fraudulent? No, that goes along with B. So as long as it's 1 year or less than a year, it can be oral. However, to be protected, it's better to have it in writing. But an unwritten lease doesn't mean it is fraudulent. A lot of people do verbal leases, and when we put a property on the market and it has several apartments and the owners don't have written leases, then we have to do a, oh my gosh, I just forgot the word, I forget the word. It's like an affidavit that the tenant has to sign stating, this is how much I pay per month. This is if it's a month to month or it was a year lease, this was the deposit. And so then the tenant needs to sign that in order to show proof that that's the agreement between the owner and the buyer. So it's like a 1-page affidavit. It has a name that starts with an E, and I can't think of it right now. And so it's done. I've had to do that when I put a property on listing that there were no written leases. Okay, so the answer was number C, letter C. So you must say yay because that's what you were guessing, right? So a 5-year lease must be in writing to be enforceable. That is a true statement. Actually, you know what? I can make this screen larger here. Okay, but now number 60 is not going to be on the full page. So then what I have to do is, let's see, increase this a little bit more. Okay, it still didn't show all in the page. Okay, so I moved this around because I had some students that were doing it on the phone and they're like, it's so small, I can't see it. All right, so then I, have to adjust the font until I am able to get it all in one page. So I'm doing my best to accommodate those who use a phone. Okay, so there it's all in one page. Okay, number 260. Which of the following is true of a sublease? A substitute lease, right? A sublease. A, the subtenant takes over sole responsibility for performance of the original lease contract. B, the original tenant retains primary responsibility for the performance of the original lease contract. C, it does not convey any of the leasehold interest. D, it conveys the entire leasehold interest. So if somebody that you know was leasing a property and they say, hey, you know what, I'm going to leave for 6 months. Are you interested in subleasing it, living there, and you take over payment? So which would it be? So does a subtenant take over completely all responsibility, or the original tenant retains primary responsibility? Because who is the lease written under? The original person, right? There was only one person on the lease, but it did say that they could do a sublease. But then they don't know who the sublessee is going to be. Does it convey any of the leasehold interest? Nope. Oh, sorry. So what is the answer on 260? Let's see, Blanca, are you going to take a shot at it? Yes, no, maybe so. 15 seconds. Because remember, on the real exam, you have about a minute per question. Because you get 125 questions and you have 4 hours. The person is still responsible. Yes. Okay, so that answer would be what? 260B. That's correct. Very good. All right, 261. A homeowner goes bankrupt and the lender forecloses on her residence. In the foreclosure sale, the proceeds are insufficient to pay off the loan, and the court orders other properties sold to cover the shortfall. This action is called what? Okay, so the homeowner is going bankrupt. So they could end up losing more than one property, right? And the lender forecloses on the residence. However, during a bankruptcy, foreclosures are halted until the bankruptcy is complete, okay, and resolved. During the bankruptcy, the bankruptcy attorney can approve for the house to be sold. And then the lender has to wait and see if it sells. They can't foreclose. But in this case, they're saying the lender forecloses on her residence. In the foreclosure sale, the proceeds are insufficient. So the loan is greater than the price of the value of the offer coming in. And the court orders other properties sold. The bankruptcy court, other properties sold to cover the shortfall. So the only reason that the lender was able to foreclose here is because the bankruptcy court gave them permission to do so in order to get their money, right? Pay off the collateral, pay off the loan. So they sell the collateral, which is the residence, in order to pay off the loan. However, if there's not enough money coming in for the property, the current market value is lower, what happens then? This action is called A, strict foreclosure, B, suit for specific performance, C, equity foreclosure judgment, or D, deficiency judgment. You're on the phone, so you can't see it. You can't see what? It's too small? What can't you see? Because I can see it on my phone. That's why I change the size of the screens a lot. So I highly recommend, I do things on my phone a lot. So when I do that, though, sometimes we won't see everything. Okay, so there it's larger. You should be able to see it better on your phone. All right, so you can, sorry, I can't read. I can only listen to you. Oh, why can't you read? You don't see the screen on the phone? I'm curious, why can't you read? So, so the answer on here, okay. I'm sorry. So it's best to be able to see what's on the screen. 2.60. B, right? The first person retains. Oh, we already did 260. We're on 261. I'm sorry, 261. So 261, okay, is the deficiency. So if there's not sufficient money to cover the loan, then the owner is going to have to pay a deficiency. So there will be a payment plan with the lender to pay the remaining balance. That is called a deficiency judgment. The only way that they wouldn't pay a deficiency judgment is if the lender is forgiving it, or there was a major market downfall like happened in 2006 to 2012 or 13, and the government put in place the Mortgage Debt Relief Act of 2007. And if it was their primary residence, the banks could not demand a deficiency judgment. They took the loss and the government helped. Okay? All right, so that is national questions. Okay, we're going to go into a few state questions because what time is it? It's 6:52. I'm going to save this page to 60. We'll start with 262 next time. Okay, save that. All right, and I'm going to put on here, we will start with 262. And I didn't see what page it was on. What page is it on? Page 144. Okay, 144, and the answers are on 248, so it's about the same. Because this is how I know where to start next time. Okay, so on state questions, we're going back to the old book from 2006. The reason why is because I already went through all the national questions on this book and had to start another one. And then I finished all the state questions on the other book, so I started back on this one. I haven't found enough really good books that explain the answer, so that's why I keep going back to this one. Okay, so we're now on state questions, and this is for Texas. And this is how you have to study when you're at home. If you're, the vocabulary will help you tremendously with your national exam. Know your vocabulary, know your acronyms. Study it, study it, study. Study with someone that will help you by asking you the definition, and you tell them the answer. Okay, so here are acronyms, and all this information that I'm showing you on here, except for the blue book, is on the Facebook group, free for you to download. So here are different acronyms that you want to know, that you must know. There's another page of more acronyms, okay, about police power, TTIP, STUD, and things like that. There's information on fair housing laws, okay, the act. There's information on estates and the TREC exam. So lots of information on our Facebook group. So on this group, let me show you where. I can't remember. I think you've been here before, Blanca, but I just to make sure. So I'm curious why you can't see. It's too small and I can't zoom. Well, this is not Zoom. Okay, we're not on Zoom. You can be on, you're on the Facebook group. You're on Facebook, on the Facebook group. Okay. You're not on Zoom because I'm not doing it on Zoom. I'm doing it on StreamYard. However, you can watch it on Facebook group, which is where you're actually posting your remarks. So you're actually seeing some because you're posting your remarks. So I'm concerned as to why you're not being able to see the screen. Okay, so let's go. So here on the Facebook group, I created some guides. It's responding a little slow. Okay, I created a bunch of guides. See, guide 1. So that one's about EXP, but there are, I think, 14 guides. There's a section called vocabulary. So there's 3 different sources. The Texas Real Estate License Exam, that's the book that we're on right now. Exam prep, cheat sheet, acronyms, property ownership, national exam review, just for national, math review, estates, fair housing, contracts, and you can download these or view them there. They're free. Use whatever you can find for free. Don't pay for stuff. You need to save your money for when you start the business and all the startup fees that it's going to take, because it almost costs you $1,000 with your courses and the startup fees and, you know, joining the application of the MLS, the application of the broker, you know, there's a lot of fees on there. Okay, so we're starting here with question 106, state questions. In walking through the Miller mansion with her customer and out of state, oh, you mean zoom in. You can't zoom. Oh, I see. Well, I made the screen larger. That's what you meant. Okay. So I just zoomed in a little bit. Okay. So I made it larger there so you can see the question better. But if I make it too large, then I can't show the whole thing. And I'm looking at it on my phone. And yes, you're right. It looks small, but that's what happens when you're on your phone. Okay. So right there, it's larger, but then you won't be able to see the whole question. I mean, with the answer. So in walking through the Miller mansion with her customer, an out-of-state buyer, salesperson Judy Jones notices that there is evidence of recent flooding in a corner of the utility room. Knowing that the dry season has already begun, Judy decides to keep the information to herself. Ooh. Her conduct is what? So this is the salesperson, Judy, right? So what are we required to do always? Disclose, 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 anything that we know. So Judy decides to keep the information to herself. So her conduct is what? A, acceptable because she is not the employee of the listing agent. B, unacceptable because she must disclose pertinent facts about the property. C, acceptable because she does not represent the seller. Or D, unacceptable because as a real estate licensee, she is a subagent of the seller. So Judy is a salesperson, okay, with an out-of-state buyer. Judy notices the evidence of recent flooding. She knows that it's now the dry season, so it's all dry, but she knows about it. So what is she required to do by our fiduciary duties? So remember to type the question and the answer. Oh, you're also on the road, Blanca? Oh, you're something else, man. Hey, you're being dedicated, but got to focus on the road, right? I know, I've done it too, and we shouldn't. However, you know, we do our best to listen. And listening is one thing, but then responding, that's another, okay? So that means you're having to text. So that's not good. All right, so the answer here is B. Very good, Blanca. Unacceptable because she must disclose pertinent facts about the property. That she already knows. She's not a subagent because she's not representing the seller. It says she's got her out-of-town buyer. So we're going to assume that, you know, she's representing the buyer. So it says, in walking through the Miller mansion with her customer, okay, customer, she doesn't have a signed buyer's rep agreement. The person, the buyer is a customer. There's no legal situation, no, however, doesn't matter we're a sub-agent or not, which she is right now for the seller, we still have to disclose. Why? Because she is aware of it. Okay, so that's a little key word. She's not a client, doesn't have documents signed, she's a customer. So 106B. You're welcome, Blanca. Unacceptable because she must. This is a must. Sometimes I say places where it says must, always, never, those are usually inaccurate answers. However, in a case like this, the word must is important. It's absolute. Okay. Number 107. Real estate salesperson Sam is preparing an offer for the purchase of the property located at 1836 Bluebonnet Boulevard and is not sure of the legal description of the property. To complete paragraph 2 of the Texas Real Estate Commission, that's the section appraisal district. Every county has its own appraisal district, which you're going to learn to use. So to complete paragraph 2 of the Texas Real Estate Commission 1-4 family residential contract form, Sam should do what? A, call the, oh, well, I basically gave you the answer. Oh my gosh. That's what I get for not being able to see the whole screen. So I'm going to have to minimize this a little bit so that I can show you all the answers. So A, call the listing company and obtain the legal description from whoever answers the phone. Remember, don't trust anybody's description. B, obtain the description from the county appraisal district, making certain that he obtains the lot, block, and section numbers as well as the correctly spelled name of the subdivision. So being that I already explained that, that is the answer. Okay. So you go into the county appraisal district and you get the actual information from there, from the main source. And then the other one was fill in the street address for now and fill in the other blanks. No, that's not acceptable. D, use the information given in the MLS data, even though he is responsibly certain that it is incomplete. No. Go to the county appraisal district and get the information from there. Don't trust somebody else's when you can do your own research and get the correct information from the correct place. Not trusting what somebody else put in there, because what if that somebody else, that other realtor, was wrong or didn't type it in correctly? Now you are also wrong. And who's going to be liable? We are, not the other realtor. We can't point a finger. Well, so-and-so had this written. Well, did you research it yourself? Well, no, I took what they had written down there in the MLS and stuff like that. No, you have to confirm that it's correct, that it's accurate. You don't trust somebody else's total information, because every single property has its own legal description. Every single property is different, okay? And you want to confirm that the information is accurate. You can pull it from the MLS, okay? And then you go and confirm it. So 108. Which of the following is authorized by statute to promulgate forms for mandatory use by real estate brokers and salespersons? A, broker law committee. Okay, so which of the following is authorized by statute, okay, to promulgate forms for mandatory use by the real estate brokers and salesperson? A, the broker lawyer committee. B, Texas Association of Realtors. C, Texas Real Estate Commission. Or D, Texas Attorney General's office. So think about it. Who is making sure you pass your courses? They accredit only, they only refer accredited companies that you can take the test from. And who accepts your scores or not, your back research, your credit, your background check, who does all that? So who is authorized? It is Texas Real Estate Commission, known as TREC. The broker lawyer committee is the ones that get together, okay, and create those documents. They have 6 brokers, 6 lawyers, and 1 civilian. So there are 13 members that create those documents. However, only TREC is authorized, okay, by the statute of promulgate forms for mandatory use by real estate brokers. So that was 108. C. So 108 C, Texas Real Estate Commission, TREC. Okay, we're going to do two more questions and then we'll end the class. Number 109, even though we're over. According to the Texas Real Estate Commission, known as TREC, canons of professional ethics and conduct, to whom do Texas brokers owe the duties of fidelity, integrity, and competency? A, every buyer and seller. B, clients. C, Texas Real Estate Commission, known as TREC. Or D, customers. So who do we owe our fiduciary responsibilities, integrity, and competency? The answer is B, clients, because clients and the broker have a written signed agreement. Otherwise, they are just a buyer and a seller. We don't owe them fidelity, fiduciary, integrity, or competency. I mean, we still owe competency, okay, and provide integrity. However, when we finally have a document signed, we definitely owe those duties. We owe any buyer and seller honesty and proper care and treatment. Okay. We don't negotiate for them. We are not loyal to them because we don't have anything in writing. Okay, number 10, 110. This is the last state question in this exam. Today you have 40 state and 85 national. This exam back then was 110 questions, 80 national and 30 state. So that's why there's only 110. 80 plus 30 is 110, right? Okay, last question. Which of the following is not, okay? Not registered, licensed, certified, or regulated by the Texas Real Estate Commission, known as TREC. Okay? A, appraisers. B, residential service contract companies. C, residential rental locators. D, easement and right-of-way agents. So which one is not registered, licensed, certified by, and regulated by TREC? There's only one of them on here. They're in the same building. The offices are in the same building for Texas. However, one of those groups is not regulated, licensed, or certified by TREC. Hi, Iomi. Okay, Iomi says C. So you're referring to question 10? I'm assuming so. No. I'll give you another chance. Try one more. You're allowed to change this one. Because C is not right. It's not correct. Residential rental locators, okay, are certified and regulated by TREC. So try one more time. D, sorry. The correct answer is A. Appraisers. Appraisers are licensed by the appraisal board. Also in the Texas building, it's okay, the same address that TREC has. It is the appraisal board that licenses appraisers and regulates them, not TREC. TREC has things to do with residential service contract companies, like home warranty companies, rental locators, okay, realtors, brokers, people that are certified for easements and right-of-ways. They have specialties for that because that has to do with residential, agreements, rights. And so they are also certified by TREC, registered, licensed, certified, and regulated. Appraisers are not. They're by the Texas Licensed Appraisal Board. So 110 is A. Now, so that's the last question for today. Next week, we'll start with exam, I think 3, yes, on the state questions for here. Oh my gosh, I put 119. No, the answer is 110. The question. And I learned from a student that I could edit. I could edit the answer. Oh, I did put 110A. I'm the one that I was retyping. Oh, that's weird. So 110A and 119A, so what the heck? The answer is actually 110A. Oh, because I had already typed the answer. Yeah, you see I had already typed it once up here. And then I went and retyped it again and I typed 119. So I had already put the answer in there. So the correct answer for 110 on state questions is A. Appraisers are licensed by the appraisal board, not by Texas Real Estate Commission. All right, so that ends today's session of Texas Real Estate Exam Prep with AgentPrep by Lillie Handy. Okay. And I should use the one that says Lillie Handy instead of my real estate page on here. That's my name that I'm using as what I'm being known as, and also as the Fearless Realtor. Okay, so to prepare for your exam, study vocabulary, lots and lots of vocabulary, find different sources online for free on Google. And you can also go to Prep Agent with Joe Juder and study from there. He's excellent, and he does have books that you can buy or study online for $80. You'll get a discount if you follow him on Facebook or you like his page. And next week, we'll continue where we left off. So when you're ready to take your exam and you're interviewing realtor, broker, sponsors, I am looking for students I'm a realtor, okay, with eXp Realty, and I'm interviewing realtors, okay, to join eXp. And we're not for everybody, okay? So, because we are a cloud-based company, we're virtual, we're on the cloud. However, you know what? We get access to so much, and there's so many multiple ways to earn money from eXp. Lots of training classes. Today I was on a certification class. I'm getting certified as a relocation specialist. So eXp is working with a lot of relocation companies, and so they will refer properties or clients that are relocating and the company is paying for it. And it does cost us a referral fee. However, only those individuals who are certified will get some of those referrals in your area, and you have to reply within a certain time. So that's a way to get leads, and those leads will come from eXp through the relationship that they have with relocator companies from different employers. You're going with eXp, Ayomi? Awesome. Did you select a particular person? Did you already select a sponsor? Because I'm also a sponsor. I'm looking for realtors to choose me as their sponsor. You already have one. Okay. And where are you located? Oh, you don't have a sponsor. So you've selected eXp. Congratulations on that. And but you don't have an individual realtor sponsor. Yes, you are required to have an individual realtor sponsor. I would love to sponsor you, Ayomi. So let's get you prepared for that. When do you take your exam? I guess I should show something on this screen. I love to scuba dive. Next month. Awesome. Have you taken your exam at all? Yes. How many times do you have left? You took it 2 times, so you have 1 more time left. So you have the rest of this month and part of next month. Okay. Well, let's chat. You have 1 time left. Okay. So I'm going to, you're probably on one of my messenger groups. Okay. And I want to meet with you to help you prepare correctly. Let me see. I think you are on. Let me see if you're on. Oh, yes. Here you are. Okay. I'm going to send you a private message, Ayomi, on Messenger. Okay. And I'm going to send you my phone number. I mean, I can put it on here. I don't have an issue with that because I do share it on discussion. I do share it on, that's my business number. So let me type it in here. Hold on, and you'll be able to see it. Gosh, sometimes I want to do so many things on this computer, and it's like I want it to respond quick. Sometimes I'm going quicker than the computer. Okay, so there's my cell number. Okay, that's a San Antonio number, but I'll also going to text you on a messenger so that maybe you can send me a copy of the exams that you've taken so that I can see where your weakness is. Because, you know, as you take your exam, it gives you all the categories, all the sections that you took questions of, and it tells you how many you missed on there, right? And so why don't you take a screenshot of those and text them, send them to me on Messenger so that I can see them. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for attending the class, and congratulations on you're going to accept EXP. I'm going to share a video with you also to see more information about it so that you have a very good, a better knowing about EXP. Okay? All right. Catch you later. Until next time, have a good night. Study, study, study.